Highguard, the game everyone was looking forward to, at least so the developers thought. Highguard actually had one of the most strangest video game launches in recent memory, with the whole Jeff Keighley situation in the Game Awards 2025, where Highguard was announced at the end of the show, at the finale, where fans and gamers alike would expect a more higher stakes game to come out. Because at the end of the show, the Highguard trailer was there, where in the end you would expect something maybe like a GTA 6 trailer or an Elder Scrolls 6 or a more higher stakes game. And on top of that, we were met with radio silence up until the game's launch. Now, because of that, we had no idea, no updates, no hype for the game whatsoever up until the game was basically shadow dropped. And when the game was met with criticism, the developers didn't respond too lightly to it. And despite all these hurdles, the game still managed to obtain 100,000 peak player count at launch. Now, how did the developers fumble this game and why? Well, I believe it's a plethora of reasons why this game fumbled so badly. The main being, it is an oversaturated market. It is going to be hard for this game to go into sort of the hero shooter market when this game is competing with some of the most dominant hero shooters in recent history, with Overwatch having that big update going back to Overwatch 1, releasing all those heroes, and again, Marvel Rivals, and with their own devs competing with their own games. If you're going to go into Battle Royale hero shooters, they have to compete with Apex Legends as well. And it's going to be hard to get those players to play Highguard. Just think of your own game that you're accustomed to. Highguard has to grab these players' attention and get them to like the game enough for them to pivot to Highguard and play that game regularly. Because this game is a live service game, it will thrive off of high player counts, which this game does not have. As you could see on the screen, this game has lost 80% of players currently, with the current peak just being over 1,000 players. And the developers haven't done anything to mitigate the damage being done to their reputation. And a matter of fact, they are making it worse by criticizing the gamers, criticizing the people, saying that they are the reason that this game is failing by jumping on the hate train after the Game Awards situation. They apparently got a bunch of internal feedback that this game is going to be a massive hit and it's immune to failure. It's going to be mainstream success written all over it. And the thing is, it's good to be optimistic about your game, but you have to be realistic. They didn't do any play tests, no open beta, so they just shadow dropped this blindly to the audience. And there are fears that this game is actually going to shut down and end up having a Concord like situation. I wish the developers the best, but it's very scary, hearing the layoffs that's happening in their company and their website going down and them claiming that they're not focused on the website because their reputation has already been damaged. That shows that it's hopeless. The developers are hopeless. You have to have hope. You have to bring this game back. I wish all games success, but with the mentality of hating on your fans or hating on the audience and then blaming everything on their reputation being damaged so the game is gonna not come back, it is not the right mindset you need when making a game and sustaining it through this live service. And in a way, I could sympathize with the developers because the future of Highguard is very uncertain. Because of the low player counts on Steam, this game probably will not survive if this keeps up because this is a live service game. Live service games thrive off of player retention and microtransactions. This is a free-to-play game, which means that money will not be coming in from sales. People could download this game and play this game for free. So for this game to be profitable, they need people to buy microtransactions and skins from the game. And to avoid this live service of becoming what other live service failures have been, such as Concord, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, and Anthem. They need to redo this game, and they need to do it well. Instead of the developers having a mentality of blaming others for their failures, they need to step up and remake this game. From what I played and in the gameplay shown above, that is my gameplay, I found myself enjoying the game at some parts. I feel like this game is not fully a lost cause, lost hope. It is very generic, and it did launch with a bad 3v3 system, but when it changed to 5v5, some systems improved, and I found myself enjoying it a bit more, especially the raid mechanics and the base defense mechanics. And from an identity point of view, I believe that Highguard really needs to find its own identity. It sort of feels like it's a mixing uh, different mechanics from other games and just blending it into one. It has a base rating mechanic, a base defense mechanic where you could sort of reinforce walls, Rainbow Six Siege style, and you could, blow them up, etc. It has a resource mining mechanic with a shop. You could mine resources and go to a shop and buy armor. It has a weapon rarity mechanic where you could get different, rare, legendary, epic, all those types of different rarities. I feel like it's taking the, well, okay, what is this game? This game is popular. What does it do good? And then mixing it into one game, and that is Highguard. I think that the game is still sort of fun to play at times. If you're with your friends, it could be fun to play, but it does have a level of genericness to it. None of the characters are really memorable to me. None of them really stand out. For instance, look at these characters right here. In my opinion, I feel like these guys are very poorly designed in a way that they really look like just fighters, made by like an edgy teenager. I mean, if you compare these characters to the ones in other hero games such as Overwatch has tons of iconic and well distinguishable characters, where this game, Highguard, has a few, maybe one or two that looks cool, but the rest are very generic. Honestly, from a gameplay point of view, it does feel solid. This was developed by people who made Apex Legends and ex Titanfall devs. So the gunplay and the movement is passable. It does work. I'm not too fond of first-person shooters. I haven't played them in a while, so I'm not gonna judge it too harshly. I say that it works for me. The gunplay feels nice. There's also, like I said, the resource management. So into detail, you could, mine this. I forgot what it's called, but it's like a blue ore, and you could buy stuff from a shop. You could buy like armor, like attachments for your gun, and it seems like that's what I mostly do. You could also go out into the towns that they have, like in between the two bases, your base and the enemy base, and you could search for chests and get armor and new weapons that way. There are many ways to play this game. I could see it being a sort of competitive game if it finds its right fan base, but as of right now, I don't think it's going to survive to that point, but I really hope it does, because, like I said, I wish every game success, but they really need to turn this around for it to get to that point. And graphically, I feel like this game has that sort of Apex Legends-esque vibe to it. It's, like I said, developed by the people who made Apex Legends. I feel like this game is gearing too much towards that Apex Legends style, and it's sort of making the game be generic. It's hurting it more than it's helping it. And I'm sure there's people that love it. Again, this is my own opinion. I feel like that this game, because of that style, kind of hurt it more than it helped it, because then again, this style looks generic. A lot of players that actually want to go and play this game are picking it up and playing it, but they're not, being amazed. There's nothing really innovative. The characters aren't innovative. The gunplay isn't innovative. If anything, you could argue maybe the style of game, you know, the base defense and the base assault game mode is sort of innovative. There isn't really anything like that right now, but the gameplay and the graphics and the characters don't compel the players enough to retain them. And it shows because during my personal time playing the game, I felt that it was taking a bit longer than usual to find matches, you know, in a free to play game, you know, in games like Overwatch, in Rivals even. You remember when Rivals first came out, you as soon as you hit that find a match button, you would instantly find a game, you know, you didn't have time to cancel. Sometimes I would accidentally click it and find a match when I didn't even want to find a match, you know, I clicked it by accident. I'm like, oh crap, I gotta play this game now, you know. That's how quick Rivals was. This game, it takes a while to find matches, and on top of that, there are a plethora of server issues that I came across with a lot of players disconnecting mid-match, you know, and then it cancels the matchmaking. And when stuff like that happens, it contributes to the negative experience of the game. And from a technical standpoint, I didn't really have any issues with, you know, crashing or any major glitches happening. A few minor visual glitches with, you know, the floor glitching out and some textures glitching out. But other than that, it was pretty polished from what I know. And at the end of the day, Highguard isn't necessarily a terrible game. It's just a game that was fumbled through a lot of marketing fails, a lot of publisher mistakes, and an unfortunate release of an identity-deprived game in such a competitive and oversaturated market. Highguard really must evolve to survive, and who knows if it will based on the developer's mindset. Let me know what you guys think below, and do you guys think Highguard will make it past the year's lifespan? Who knows? Well, Mr. Frosty Flames out.